Hey, I'm Anfa. In this short video, I want to show you the current progress, uh, development progress on Liblast. I've been working on overhauling the damage system because the damage was communicated very weirdly, and like most of the mechanics were handled by the weapon. And the weapon decided what particle effects to spawn and etc. So that was very weird. Okay, so what is new? We have so-called bleeding eyes effect. So if I shoot the other player, you can see that their vision gets red. If I can shoot them twice in a row, okay. No. First blood. You can see that the player's camera is moved, and now we have like jibs. And if I shoot them, a lot, then the vision gets more and more red. It's a shader, and the actual vignette effect, the fact that the red is more closer to the edges of the screen is all procedural. It's made with a shader with smart math, and that allows it to be nicely animated. There is a bug that if I kill someone, my own vision is red, and for some reason the hit marker didn't reset fully. Okay, now it reset. Okay, so there's the jibs, and you can actually push them around because I've added a particle collision, and these are particles. What more? We have weapon bob. So pay attention to how my weapon moves. Before it was completely static. Now, also if you jump, there's a little jolt, and the weapon kind of shows you your vertical velocity a bit because it moves down if you're flying up, and it moves up if you're flying down. So it kind of like very gently, but it shows you your velocity. And I think that's really nice because it feels much more tangible. And also, when you're walking around shooting, it's really cool to see like the shell casings spawning from different points and it all. Working nicer. So you may notice that for now there is no blood decals when I shoot a player, and there's also no bullet hit effects. That's because I'm rewriting this part of the game to be more to be much more flexible and resilient, and there is a consideration about how do we make weapon the bullet hits spawn appropriate effects depending on the type of the material you hit. So if you hit concrete, it should spawn a concrete decal and appropriate particle effect. If you hit a player, it should spawn a blood spurt, etc. If you hit a glass pane, you should, this kind of stuff. And I've been talking to the Godot developers, namely Kalinu, who is by the way, I also fixed the fact that players weren't like casting shadows. So now the player body casts shadows because for some reason the player casting shadow was disabled. So only your weapon and your jetpack were cast shadows. So that was weird. Now the player's body casts shadows as well. So you can finally appreciate this cool color shadows effect that I actually specifically made to be like enjoyed by throwing shadow in this tunnel. Yeah, and you can also see it when you're like using the jetpack that your own body is throwing a shadow on the wall, which is quite a blurry shadow. So it's weird. It's a nice, very strange effect, but it's really cool. We're currently using the Godot 4.0 alpha pre-release. And this bug still occurs. You can see that the part of the decal gets cut off. I think there's some problem with the clustered renderer, which some clusters don't render the decal, and it depends on the camera angle, and yeah, it's weird. Some bugs that we've reported have probably been fixed. One bug is that removing a player scene from the game, deleting a player scene from the game, used to crash the game. That's why I had to implement a workaround, and the player actually isn't deleted. It's being disabled. Its collision being disabled, and it's just being hidden, which is kind of okay. Another bug is the game exports basically were broken. You weren't there if you exported the game. The scripts wouldn't work, and you weren't able to actually play. And that sucked. And at first, that was only the case for release builds of the game. But then, and the debug builds were okay, but then the debug builds broke as well. And now I don't know if it's all fixed or just partially fixed, or I need to test that. Yeah, so this is why our game release is so huge, because basically it's the entire game project bundled with Godot executables that are renamed to Liblast Windows.exe and Liblast Linux. And because Godot is made it so that because you have the good project.godot file in the same folder that the Godot editor executable, it just runs the project as a game, and it pretends it's not the editor, it's just the game, but it provides a much larger downloads, and this is bad, but for now this is the only thing we can do. Yeah, so I think it's really cool that, well, the dev is much more fun to look at. You have this little pile of, jibs. The weapon is more tangible because it kind of reacts to the physics of the player body, and like you indicate when you're walking, and when you're midair it doesn't. I also used some complicated math to like make sure it interpolates, or complicated. I just used a lot of stuff to make sure it interpolates smoothly between walking and not walking. Jumping is a bit awkward. I wasn't able to like ramp up this little, but I think it's okay. And also I wanted to have a little jolt when you're landing, depending on the force, but that's not implemented yet. I'll need to figure this out. There's still a few known bugs, like the players. I can see that the player appeared here for like one frame, and then he moved over there. That's because when the players respawn, every single peer in the network randomizes the spawn point independently, and then the player's local client, local peer enforces the location and says, "No, I'm actually there." So my peer randomized the location to be this spawn point, and then it got updated now to this location. So I just need to make sure that the spawn location is decided on the server side, and it's sent to all peers, so the spawn occurs in sync in this one place and not somewhere else randomly, because this weird. Another known issue is that, well, there's a bunch of issues like this rendering thing, like the shadows disappear when I like use the jetpack. There's like that's issues with the renderer, so that's upstream. I can't do anything about this, so I can just report it and hope for the Godot team to fix it. But there is something that I think needs fixing. One thing is I would like the weapon to move away if you're hitting a surface. I really like this kind of mechanic. So I need to add a collision to the weapon and make the hand just lower down or something. One issue is that if I switch to other player, you can see my view goes black, and I am unable to do anything. And if we move closer and look at this player, maybe I'm going to do it like that. You can see I can't move. I'm now moving my mouse. If I shoot, the animation of the gun plays, but nothing else. And if I use my jetpack, it shows as if it's working, but it doesn't actually propel me. And the game then spurts a bunch of errors, which are renderer errors. Oh, wait, am I actually running 4 instances of the game? Holy snap. Wait. No, I'm not. I am not running 4 instances of the game. Yeah, the game spews errors of this kind. Instance set transform condition math is nan v.x is true, and this is happening in the renderer scene call. So this was introduced. This problem was introduced after I've implemented the camera changing location when you die, so your head kind of moves to the ground, and also rolls, so it looks a bit like in Half-Life, the original Half-Life, when you die, and yeah, like it's a clear communication that you're dead. Also with the red overlay on your screen. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for now. I'm gonna be testing the game with the recent versions of Godot and figuring out how to fix this bug, because it's kind of like all I can do is disconnect, and now this game crashes. And also, like, if you kill someone, you feel so much remorse that that's weird stuff is happening. You feel so much remorse that your screen goes red as well, and your cursor disappears, like you're unable to think about shooting your gun and ever again, at least for a few seconds, until the enemy respawns, and then you're good. So if I kill the other player, I can see. First blood. Okay, we had a slowdown, but wow, these jibs went flying. That the killer screen also goes red and the cursor disappears. So some part of the death logic, for some reason, is triggered on all players. Not sure how or why, but I'll need to figure it out. It must be some bad RPC call, I guess. Some poorly made RPC call that just sends this command to all players. Can I snipe? Yay. Okay, my accuracy diminishes with every shot, so I need to wait for it to respawn, so to reset, and I can snipe this way, more or less. Yay. These are particles. These are not scenes or nodes. These are particles. So that's kind of cool that we have particle collisions finally in Godot, which is really nice. I don't know about performance of this. This seems to be okay. Yeah. The weird thing about this bug with player like going blind, going immobile, and shooting blanks is it doesn't trigger until you move your mouse. So I can walk as long as I don't touch my mouse. It's fine. I guess I could even shoot, but I can't really touch my mouse to shoot, and I don't have a different key. And as long as I don't touch my mouse, I'm good. I can do everything. But as soon as I touch my mouse, I go blind. And yeah, something really weird happens. I wonder if this is an engine bug, and I am suspecting it could be, because that's so weird. I don't think anything should happen. Anything like of this kind should actually happen in normal circumstances, and I would expect some more telling error message from the engine rather than instance set transform condition math is nan. Yeah, that doesn't seem particularly helpful, and I really don't like. There's also a bunch of other errors that are related to the renderer, and I can't do anything about them because they are like internal errors of the renderer. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know when this happened, but I can check in Git history. What did I do to trigger this, and hopefully revert it to maybe remove this problem. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you updated with another Liblast development progress. We'll probably be showing off some designs for the character classes because there's some really cool stuff in the making by our artists. Yeah, I hope you're interested and excited for how this game develops. I am excited for sure. Okay, I love you. Bye bye.